So you got this new camera, but you plug it in and it doesn't look good. What are you doing wrong? Let's break it down. The one simple thing you might be missing is also potentially the hardest to get right: lighting. Let's get into it. So to start with, what's wrong with your room light, right? You might be asking yourself, why can't I just use my room lights? The problem with that is they usually light up stuff around you very well, but don't illuminate you well, right? So the light is going to be coming from above. You're going to get shadows on your face. People aren't going to be able to see your expressions. And that's very important. The whole reason why we want a webcam in our stream is to connect with people, right? So they got to see your face. What we need here is a good key light. This is going to be the main light that's going to be hitting you and illuminating you, differentiating you from your background, right? So you can see in my setup, I have this kind of weird glowy background going on, but you can see me in a normal color. So there's no hue on me coming from the backlight. And I have this key light that illuminates me very well. Let me show you what it looks like without the key light. So that's without the key light. You can see all of a sudden I'm kind of mixing in with the background. I got some of that hue on myself and things get a little muddy. Now if I turn off my backlighting, so without the backlighting, you can still see me, but you can not differentiate me as much as before. So before it was like I was kind of glowing a little bit and there was a clear differentiation, whereas now everything is a little bit more brought down. You can also see some distortion happening in the image. This is because there isn't enough light going into the chip of my webcam. So I am using a Logitech 4K Brio, which is a great webcam, but it still won't work well if it doesn't have enough light going into it, as you could see before. Now what happens if we use a cheaper webcam? For the longest time, I was using a Logitech C922. So let's see how that looks with my current lighting. Okay, so there we go. You can clearly see a downgrade in quality when it comes to resolution, but the lighting is not bad. We would need to adjust a little bit because you can see the glow of the key light too much, but with, you know, a little bit of adjustments, this could look pretty good and you could fool a lot of people into thinking you have a better camera. So now that I've told you a little bit about what we're gonna need, let me show you my setup and I'll walk you through the different elements. And there will be a cost breakdown at the end with all of the links so you can buy that stuff if you dig it. Also, you can catch me live on Twitch Mondays to Wednesdays, 7 p.m. UTC, and Saturdays, 2 p.m. UTC. If you want to see my setup in action or ask me any questions about this, we can go back and forth there. I digress. Let me show you my setup. So here's my cat Basil. And here's my main key light, fairly cheap and very bright. So I even have some extra fabric in there to dim it down a little bit. And you can also see here my backlight hitting that wall nicely, causing some shadows, making it a bit more visually interesting. Over here, what I have is my console corner, and all of it is hooked up to the same PC so I can play in either corner. And I can use the same key light, just turn it around depending on where I'm sitting. Down here, you can see my RGB 30 watt backlight. The other thing is that, like many people, I don't have a lot of space for a full stand when it comes to my main key light. So what I have is something that's just hooked up to my desk, and so I don't need the floor space for a full stand. And that allows me to have it right there in the middle where I need it. And like I said, I can just turn it around whenever I need it in the other corner. Man, getting that key light there in the middle was a bit of a hassle, and shout out to my father. We actually worked on it together to get that. But let me know if you have any other questions. Hit me up on Twitch. We can go back and forth on it. But you can see the breakdown here. The two basic components set you back about 35 pounds, $45 thereabouts. It really isn't a lot of money when you take into account that it elevates your visual game. And, you know, it's something that's gonna make your scene pop. When people are browsing different streams, they're gonna tend to go into yours over someone who has a bland scene, you know? If you throw a splash of color, if you can see yourself in the picture, you know, well differentiated from the background, all of that stuff counts and people might not realize, but that's kind of working in your advantage subconsciously. So let me know what you thought of the video. Hopefully it helped you in some capacity. If you have any suggestions, thoughts, and criticisms, leave that stuff down below. Perhaps consider joining our wonderful Discord. If you have any questions, we're always happy to help. Maybe find us live on Twitch and say a word or two. Thank you for watching. Catch you next time.